Hello, this is Thogdad here. Now grab yourself a brew because today we're going to be talking about every Premier League team's biggest celebrity fan. And I've got a warning, we won't be talking about Michael Jackson. Now, Michael Jackson was of course associated with Fulham, but in reality he was a massive fan of Swiss football. He liked young boys. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a phone call. Hello, it's my lawyer, Dem Perry. Can I use the Michael Jackson material? Yeah, Young Boys is a Swiss football team? Excellent, thank you. We're running with the Michael Jackson joke. So the first team we're talking about is Aston Villa. Now, somebody suggested Nigel Kennedy as a famous Aston Villa fan, but I clearly asked for celebrity fans. Maybe Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, back in the day, he was so full of drugs and booze that he probably didn't have a clue what was going on the pitch, which is probably a good thing for a Villa fan. I mean, famously back in the day, Ozzy bit the head off a bat. I mean, I know the pies at Villa Park are terrible, but that is just ridiculous. Or maybe Tom Hanks. Life is like a box of chocolates. Well, if you're a Villa fan, that box of chocolates is probably No Quality Street. Or maybe will.i.am. No, not that will.i.am. This one, Prince William. Trouble with Prince William, he probably thinks that Jack Grealish is his butler. Or maybe we could go with Simon Payne, twice world champion for sailing. But no, who I've actually gone with is David Cameron, the former Prime Minister. And I'm going to be talking more about David Cameron later, because he also supports Burnley, West Ham, and any team who plays in those colours. But no, come on, let's not be harsh about David Cameron. He's actually a good lad. He's a big mate of Thogdad. We're like that, we are. And once David Cameron, he rang me up. He's like, Thogdad, get yourself down 10 Downing Street. You've got to make a presentation for our charity. So I'm like, I'm a bit nervous. And I'm like, literally, I'm spending the next 4 hours, true story this, drinking coffee. I'm drinking coffee all afternoon because, I'm off to Downing Street. I'm really nervous. And by the time I got there, look at this picture. I'm as high as a kite. I mean, seriously, I'm off my tits in 10 Downing Street. Look at me. I don't even know where I am. Arsenal now. Now, several people wrote in saying Osama bin Laden or Piers Morgan, and I find that suggestion quite revolting. So I'm not going to talk about Piers Morgan. But seriously, Osama, you're meant to be from Afghanistan or Saudi Arabia. Why don't you support Man United? Or maybe we could go with President Paul Kagame of Rwanda. And here's a picture of Thogdad shaking hands with one of Africa's greatest living leaders. Or maybe Tom Felton, Draco Malfoy. Now that's a good private school North London name, isn't it? But can you imagine an intolerant, aggressive, loudmouthed bully like Draco Malfoy supporting a team like Arsenal? Or maybe KSI. I mean, this is the man with sore arms from carrying the sidemen. I mean, what's with KSI and Deji? I mean, I'm not saying his relationship with his brother is bad or anything, but he's getting family therapy from Noel and Liam Gallagher these days. At Arsenal, I could have gone with Jay-Z, Spike Lee, Mick Jagger, Dido, or Prince Harry. But I've got to go with the Queen of England. I mean, she's supported Arsenal for over 50 years. And once she got so full of sherry at the Emirates that she went undercover on Arsenal Fan TV and said that Arsene Wenger has to be effing sacked. That's a Thogdad fact. Moving on now to Burnley. I mean, Prince Charles is a massive Burnley fan, but this is a man who talks to his plants. This is a man whose family have got a tradition of marrying their cousins. An ideal Burnley fan, if you ask me. Or what about Colonel Gaddafi of Libya? This is a man who tried to buy the club back in the 1990s. Can you imagine the EFL doing the fit and proper persons test on this man? Can you imagine the Colonel having a game of FIFA with Visa? I mean, they'd be arguing over Dean Marley, wouldn't they? But I've got to go with Alistair Campbell, and there's two reasons for this. Number one, he follows me on Twitter. And number two, he said that if I don't put him first, he's going to send Tony Blair round. And that finishes the section on Burnley.
Fuck that. I don't think you should be so rude about Burnley. I think it's a lovely place.
Moving on now to Bournemouth, and it just has to be Seth Rogen, a Canadian actor and comedian. And we know he's got a sense of humour because he supports bloody Bournemouth. This is a man who took a starring role in The 40-Year-Old Virgin because he thought it was a film about Bournemouth fans. He co-wrote Superbad And a Thogdad fact, Superbad 2 is coming out soon. It's all about Bournemouth's recent season. Brighton now, and maybe Fatboy Slim. This is a man with more names than Lloyd's. And interestingly, Fatboy Slim is the nickname of my brother Stuart. It's not a very good nickname because he's really not very slim. But anyone my age knows Fatboy Slim as Norm Cook from the House Martins. If you're my age, you know what I'm talking about. Or we could go with Joe Weller, who quite honestly sounds like one of those young, coke-drinking YouTube types. Joe Weller, the man who loses every sporting contest he enters. Wow, that's ideal practice for being a Brighton fan. No, we have to go with the brilliant Chris Eubank, who was once voted the second most eccentric person in the world after bloody Bjork. Chris Eubank, the man who made me love boxing. I actually once met him at a reception at the House of Commons, but I was too starstruck to say anything. A legend of boxing. Crystal Palace now, and we could go with the great actor Bill Nighy. Except he once appeared in Love Actually, a movie so irritating and obvious and uninspiring that I'd rather drink a Coke than watch it. I repeat, I'd rather drink a Coke than watch Love Actually. Sorry, I have to calm down after that. Or we could go with Simon Bird, who will always be Will from The Inbetweeners. But for me, there's only one great actor from The Inbetweeners. That's Alex McQueen as the gay dad. Or for Crystal Palace, I could also go with Joe Brand. No, sorry, can't think of anything funny about Joe Brand. But no, it has to be Liam Neeson. Yes, now I know he was in Love Actually, but he was also Oscar Schindler in Schindler's List, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He once actually played for Bohemian Football Club in Northern Ireland, so he nearly became a professional footballer. Moving on to Chelsea now, and we could choose Will Ferrell, who was in Anchorman and the Austin Powers movies, who's also a part owner of Los Angeles Football Club. Or we could go for the big lad, Jeremy Clarkson. Arrogant, opinionated, shouty and loves his beer. I can't imagine anyone like that being a Chelsea fan. But no, we're going to have to go with Michael Caine, the man who shares a birthday with Thogdad. This is a man who was in great films such as Zulu, Alfie, Get Carter, The Italian Job, Educating Rita, Hannah and Her Sisters, and of course, Austin Powers. Oh, wait a minute. I'm getting a phone call. My builders, they're doing some work. You blew off the windows? You were only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. Everton now, and for Everton I want someone rock hard because Liverpool is a gritty, hard, northern working class city, isn't it? So someone suggested Justin Bieber, and I cannot believe that. Dad joke alert. Justin Bieber is someone who couldn't go 3 rounds with Charles Hawtrey from the Carry On films. No, we need someone a lot harder. Maybe Tony Bellew. Now that is a good choice. This is a man who gets into the ring with the music from Z-Cars, the same as Everton Football Club. Or maybe we could go with the brilliant Judi Dench. I mean, she's she's rock hard. She used to run the bloody security services until that weirdo killed her in Skyfall. Oh, I've still got a tear in my eye from that. But no, we have to go with Rambo. We have to go with Rocky, the man from The Expendables, the brilliant Sylvester Stallone. He once broke his finger saving a penalty from Pele in Escape to Victory. And that is a Thogdad fact. Leicester City, and you're all expecting me to name the BBC's chief political correspondent, Gary Lineker, Mr. Walker's Crisps, but I'm not going to say anything nasty about him because after this lockdown, we're all skint. We're all going to be borrowing money from him. So maybe we go with the boys from Kasabian. I mean, they're pretty good at singing and all that, aren't they? But no, it has to be the one and only Nicholas Parsons. Just a minute, sale of the century. This is the star who sadly died earlier this year. And now from Norwich, it's the quiz of the week. He gave the people of Britain the chance to buy a mini metro for 140 quid. And all the younger viewers right now are shouting, Mum, Dad, who the hell's Nicholas Parsons when he's at home? And now we're moving on to Liverpool. And it's a Thogdad fact that back in the day, every single programme on TV was a comedy set in Liverpool. Liverbirds, bread, butterflies. No, not butterflies. That wasn't a comedy. It wasn't funny. But I want to find a sophisticated global celebrity to represent Liverpool. So what about LeBron James? 6'9" of muscle, an absolute hero of basketball, one of the greatest players to ever play that game. A very good shout. But no, it actually has to be Daniel Craig. Now, this is a man who's 12 days older than Thogdad. He's a man who's assassinated a Russian spy before breakfast, when I can barely get out of bed in the morning with me bad back. But back in the day when we moved to London, I used to be mistaken for Daniel Craig. I think it's my impeccable dress sense and my charm. I mean, you never see Thogdad and Daniel Craig in the same room, do you? But right, I'm going to go and enjoy my brew. I've chatted for so long that, you know what, I'm going to turn this video into 2 segments. So if you like this, press the like button, subscribe, do all the usual, and I'll do a part 2. You know you want it. See ya.